All right, welcome to the Santaquin City Development Review Committee. It is Tuesday, October 22nd, 2024. It is 10 o'clock a.m. and we will get started. In attendance, we have myself, Jason Bond, Assistant City Manager. Unfortunately, John Lundell is not able to be here today, who usually chairs. And then we have from the Building Department, Randy Spadafora, from Public Works, Jason Calloway, from the Fire Department, Chief Ryan Lind. From the Police Department, we have Assistant Chief, Lieutenant Mike Wall, and then we have from Administration Norm Beagley. We also have Emily Otley and Aspen Stevenson, who are in the audience that are also staff members. So I think we'll just go ahead and get started into the agenda for new business. Our first agenda item is the Stratton Meadow Subdivision Preliminary Plan. This was on the DRC meeting last meeting that we had a couple weeks ago. This is a preliminary subdivision review, and you know the plans are pretty cleaned up. There's a few repeat comments, nothing that's too substantial. But before we dive into those as necessary, I'll just we'll go around and see if anybody has any additional comments for that. So Randy, go ahead.
Go down to the plat itself. Right up, right there, down, right there. Oh, I didn't get on here, but if you zoom into lot 2, is that 213? Yeah, 213. The street right there is 270 or 260, and this is 264 on that lot. So we need to just redo that and move it so it's maybe make it 258 east.
Randy, we wish you were back.
It shows on. I know it's not making noise. There we go. Hello? Yeah, so if lot 213 could change from 264 east to 258 east. Needs to be just smaller than the 260 street.
Okay. Anything else, Randy?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, Jason Calloway.
No.
Okay. Chief Lind.
Nothing from fire.
Lieutenant Wall.
The only thing I have is on 770 North and 200 East. For the safe school route, we believe that probably needs to be a four-way intersection with a crosswalk on the north side of that street, that intersection.
Okay, so four-way stop sign.
A four-way stop sign so that so kids can come down and cross over on the front of the school sidewalk.
Okay, and some of the different pages are different. So north is to the left. So you're asking for a crosswalk on the north side of the intersection.
Yeah, let's see. Yes, right there. It just makes more sense to put the crosswalk there just so that they can cross one time and be on the same side as the school where there's no fencing or anything.
That'd just be crossbars, right? It wouldn't be a full hash crosswalk.
No, it would more just be a spot for the kids to cross over because we're gonna. My assumption would be you're gonna probably put youth in those homes.
So you're no intention of having a crossing guard there. Just
no intention on having a crossing guard, but
okay,
just a safe spot for the kids to cross.
And I recognize that the developer doesn't, is not responsible for the full width of that. So I wonder if there's something, we can do to coordinate and participate with that. So Jason Calloway in Public Works could probably help you with that. But for sure, the stop signs that are within your property, I think would be good to have, and we can coordinate and make sure we get those other things addressed.
Yeah, we can do that. Put it on our list to have marked.
So after construction though, right? We're not doing that right now.
No.
After this subdivision is constructed is what we're talking about it once it's completed. So I would note for DRC and for the public that this intersection has been looked at before for traffic control request. This obviously with new homes to the east of the school is going to perpetuate or necessitate some of those traffic control requests that may or may not be in harmony with previous requests. But now that we have this here, that will definitely change the configuration, the use, and the access controls that are needed at this subdivision, at this intersection, I'm sorry. So just again, as a note to bring this back, that we have looked at this intersection before, have actually made changes to the stop signs or removing stop signs. And this will now change that because of this configuration of this new subdivision coming in there. And as Lieutenant Wall said, having, kids living in these new homes is going to necessitate this.
Okay, Mike, do you have anything more?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. Norm?
I don't have anything. Then we'll just go through the red lines with you as you go through them.
Okay, and I'll mention that we have Megan Wilson who came in, who's also on the DRC representing engineering department. So, Megan, do you have anything you need to bring up in this?
Just the red lines.
Okay, so we'll go through the red lines here together, just make sure that we're on the same page. There's a PLSS, a public land survey, something or other, certificate that needs to be completed. That was a repeat comment. I think there's we just need a specific name for the who's signing for Cascade Shadows. There's a portion of the property that looks like it's also or it's currently owned by Nebo School District, so you'll need to coordinate with them or either have them sign the plat or figure that out for this very north section of the right of way there. Remove the easement and install mailboxes in the park strip. I think there's another sheet that has a note on that of trying to get those mailboxes in the park strip instead of being on private property. Probably some coordination that needs to happen with USPS there. There's a few closure issues on lots 234, 235, and 217. Let's see, I think there's maybe a little scale issue as well there. And that those comments are related to the mailboxes as well. Coordinate with them and show how that's going to be taken care of. And I think that was it. Let me just get down through here and make sure there's no more red lines. So just a few minor little things that need to be addressed. I think this is probably clean enough to move forward, but I think we definitely want to see these red lines addressed before the Planning Commission takes a look at them. So anyway,
Megan, can I ask a question on this? Do they have the note on the front page to meet all the requirements of the geotech report?
I think that's on there.
If it's not, would we add that as part of the red lines, please? I understand they did submit a geotech report, but that just needs to be explicit on there.
Yes, I think it's on the front, but if it's not, I'll add that.
Thank you.
okay, I guess with that, unless there's more questions or discussion, I'll look for a motion.
So, Jason, I would make a motion here for conditional approval that the red lines be addressed, that we approve and the red lines be addressed prior to any submission to Planning Commission.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second on that?
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion by Norm Beagley, a second by Jason Calloway. I would just clarify that we're recommending approval.
Correct.
And that we don't see this going to the Planning Commission until the red lines are cleaned up, and that way the Planning Commission has something clean to review. Okay, any more discussion on that? Emily, you good on motion that? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that passes unanimously. And we'll look for those red lines to be addressed, and then we'll work with you to get you on the Planning Commission for their review.
Once those are addressed.
Okay, thank you. Okay, our next item on the agenda is the Morgan subdivision preliminary plan. I believe this is the DRC's first look at this. Let's see, let me get the right window up. This is an existing parcel that's proposed to be split into three separate lots. I believe there's an existing home and some accessory buildings that are currently on the parcel. We'll look at that a little closer as you'll see that, well, I guess I can pull it up now. You'll see that looks like the existing home is to the very far southeast of the property. There's also a few sheds. We'll talk about that here shortly. But yeah, relatively straightforward, small 3-lot subdivision. And the address is, this is about what, 300 north? 200 north. 200 north.
First east.
Okay.
180.
Uh-huh. Oh, there we go. 200, corner of 200 north and 100 east, the south east corner of that block. So, yeah, we'll obviously go through some red lines here in a bit, but I don't think there's much more that needs to say with the introduction. I know that the applicant does intend to get a deferral agreement that'll probably move forward to City Council the next meeting for them to look at. So some of those infrastructure improvements are proposed right now to be deferred. And yeah, like I say, this is the first look for the DRC, so it'll be the DRC's responsibility to make any recommendations to the Planning Commission, and then the Planning Commission will be the land use authority in approving the preliminary plan. After that, it'll come back to DRC for final, but the majority of the work and the review is done here at the preliminary stage. We do have the applicant here, Mr. Morgan. Do you have anything you want to say on this application?
Just looking forward to having my daughter living across the street.
Okay.
So Jason, just procedurally wise on that, then we can't make a recommendation until said deferral agreement is done as drawn, because they've not shown improvements, frontage improvements, storm drain, all that kind of stuff. They've not roadway improvements. They've not shown that. So procedurally wise, this would have to be tabled and come back at a later date once a deferral agreement is approved or not approved accordingly.
Yeah, I think there's some other things that are still missing with this subdivision. I don't see this moving forward. I think we can give feedback and red lines so that they can make progress. I know in the past we've maybe had that as a condition of approval. If council approves the deferral agreement, then it can move forward. If they don't, then they need to take a step back and provide a whole bunch of drawings for all those infrastructure improvements. But it's safe to say that there's some things missing with this preliminary plan that we need before we can really move this forward. So it's going to be likely be tabled either way. So I think the timing is going to work out well for council being able to see that, and it'll need to come back to DRC anyways. So anyways, with that, we'll go around and maybe I'll end with you like we did the first agenda item. But let's start with Randy Spadafora.
I think on the second sheet it does show addressing there, so I think we're good as far as addresses.
Okay, Jason Calloway.
Utility-wise, you'll be picking up the sewer, water, and PI out on 100 East. I just know that you'll have to get road cut permits. We'll have to do the testing, all that stuff. I'd verify with your contractor. He make sure what the depth of the sewer is. And so, yeah, it looks pretty straightforward to me.
Thank you. Okay, Chief Lynn.
Nothing from fire.
Okay, Lieutenant Wall.
Nothing, please.
Okay, administration.
Jason, can you go to the second sheet and where you're showing the buildings and the setbacks and stuff? I would just look at that existing home, and I'm not sure what they're showing there as far as setbacks. It looks like we might have a problem with the setback on the very front of the building there at the southeast corner. It wouldn't meet the setback. Is that what I'm seeing on there as well? Jason, have you looked at that?
There's some general setback information that's there, but that's for the main home. I think some of the issues that are pointed out in the red lines here is the existing sheds don't meet the setbacks, so they either need to be removed or they need to be moved or something to where they meet the setbacks. Obviously, we can't have a shed that straddles the property line or or sheds that are too close. There are, if you look closer at the accessory buildings setbacks, there are some provisions that allow for it to be pretty close to the property line if it's got firewall and stuff, but there still needs to be some setback. I think the minimum setback, even with firewall, is like 3 feet. So there's a few things there that need to be addressed with the existing sheds, and making that note for the accessory building setbacks would probably be good to have here on this page as well.
Jason, I don't know why we have a leader going to the house. We wouldn't have them remove that, obviously.
Right.
So that leader needs to be deleted. But what
Well,
I'm talking
no.
about is the house itself doesn't appear to meet setbacks.
But
So-
street setbacks, right?
No, front lot line setbacks, frontage setbacks. So
Yeah, but it's all-
again, I don't know what that portion of the house is that is within that 20-foot setback or the 10-foot PUE. So as it sits right now, I don't believe the house meets the setback requirements. So that's going to be something your engineer is going to have to look at as far as how that works.
But with it being an existing home, what can we do with that?
There really isn't a lot that we can do with it because our code requires that when they subdivide, it meets code.
But this subdivision part is, I mean, it's a street line, not anything that they have control of adjusting a lot line or anything.
Yeah, I think we can look at that one. That might fall in the category of a legal non-conforming. I mean, the other sheds and stuff like that, you know, you can't run a new property line right through the middle of a shed or you know, within the setback. That one we'll have to take a closer look at, or we're just going to have to review and see what the deal is with that.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that you're clear, that we're clear that when you do go through a subdivision process, it has to meet code. And they're doing that on the north side of the house. But on the south side, it does not look like it works for that. So we'll have to look into seeing if there is some type of a non-conforming use or something of that nature to make sure that will still comply.
And your comment about the leader to the house, that still applies, because all that comment is saying is please remove all the buildings from the plat.
Oh, yes.
You have
Yep.
another sheet that shows that, which is great, but usually we don't show buildings on a plat. The plat is just really showing the land.
And we'll give you all these red lines. They'll come to you.
Yes,
So-
thank you.
Okay? Any other comments, Norm?
No, that's the only thing I looked at as I went through the plans is just that one, making sure that existing home meets setback or that there's some type of an exception that can be made. I'm not sure that there is, but we need to look at that.
Yeah, we need to look a little closer at that.
So that I can sleep tonight.
Yeah.
Because I'm not understanding. So I'm not talking about having to demolish a home to do this.
I don't think so.
I mean, it's a 100-year-old home.
Right. I don't think that's what Norm is saying. As I think with the home, we'll look at the front setback situation. I think the other setbacks from your new property lines need to conform. You know, because the side property line is something that you do have the flexibility in terms of the city's requirement for right-of-way dedication and that sort of a thing that will probably create a situation with the front setback that we'll need to review and make sure that is done properly. But particularly with the existing sheds and the setbacks they have from your new lot lines, or really even existing, depending on how those were done, yeah, we'll need to look at those and make sure that those are in conformance with our setback regulations.
We'll
But-
give you the proper feedback on that. It's just something that I noticed as we looked at the plans.
Thanks, Norm.
That we typically don't have a home or a building or a structure within that front setback.
Right.
But again, if it's a legal non-conforming use, that may not be an issue. We just have to look at it, make sure we know where we're at. We're not saying you need to tear the building down tomorrow.
Thank you.
Or today.
My renters would be like, oh.
Okay, Megan, do you have any comments you want to bring up, or should we just go through red lines?
My comments are all in the red lines. They're all included in the red lines, so.
Okay, so just quickly, again, a public land survey certificate needs to be provided. A geotechnical report needs to be submitted. There's just a couple little things on the data table. Stuff related to the geotechnical study. When we get that, we'll be able to review that a little bit more. And then Norm already talked about I guess really that it's just cleaning up the plat a little bit. Need to verify distances and bearings. Looks like there's maybe a closure issue there that needs to be addressed. Some of these red lines are just us verifying that you have the correct widths and stuff for those proposed lots. We need some distance and bearings to make sure that those lots are drawn appropriately. Whoops. And then this is really what Norm was getting at is these sheds need to be, they either need to be removed or they need to be moved or do something so those sheds can meet the setbacks, particularly this middle shed since it's straddling a property line. These other ones look like maybe they're a little off the property or they would be within a future setback that would not meet the setback requirements in fire code really. There's some fencing that appears to be in the city's right of way that would need to be removed. I think some of this internal fencing would be okay to keep, but obviously those things will need to be looked at in conjunction with the requirements, fencing requirements. So those are all the red lines that we have right now. Again, there's some information missing, and we'll provide you and your engineer with these comments so that you can work on those, and we're obviously accessible if you have any questions or things that we need to work through. I think the front setback thing is something we'll look into and make sure that there's no issue with that. I don't think that there would be because of the age of the home, but we'll look at that. So,
Thank you.
okay, those are the red lines that we have now. Is there any other comments or questions on this application? Okay, I'll look for a motion then.
Jason, I make a motion to table.
Okay, we have a motion by Norm Beagley. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Randy Spatafora. Any discussion or questions on that motion? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that motion passes, and that preliminary plan application is tabled, and then like I say, we'll work with you to get you those red lines. Okay, our next item on the agenda are meeting minutes from our last meeting, which was no, that was not our last meeting, but meeting minutes from August 27th, 2024. Is that a typo? No, that's the right one. Okay. August 27th, 2024 meeting minutes. Any questions or edits or anything on those? Okay, I'll look for a motion on those minutes.
Motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion to approve by Ryan Lynn. Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Randy Spatafora. Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that motion passes. Okay, unless anybody has anything else, I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion to adjourn by Ryan Lind at